culture is actually damn good.
We're not urinating on the fire.
You can stop asking that question. I'm going to be calling the defense.
What I talked to Russell about is none of your business.
In this year's owners' meetings, not much has changed in the NFL landscape, but there were a few big decisions made. In an attempt to massage the egos of the refs union, the motion to make roughing the passer reviewable was rejected. It doesn't matter. We all knew it was going to be like reviewing pass interference a few years ago, where only a play or two was overturned and blatant PI wasn't because reasons. You will, however, see more potential ref ball and players with the number 0 on the field. There will also be no gradual cuts down to the final roster in the preseason from 90 players, which should keep starters fresh for a probable wave of injuries in week 2 of the season. Speaking of changes that no one wants, there's a chance that Thursday Night Football will have flex scheduling. It's more than likely going to be up for vote in May, and would give teams at least 15 days notice of a change from Sunday to Thursday. This would be terrible for the game, but remember, the dollar is what drives the NFL. TV rights fees are far more important to the league than the fans, and we all know it. It'll probably be reality barring a miracle. On to the NFC's moves. New York had a big question to ask this offseason. What do they do with Danny and Saquon? Both have serious concerns in different ways, and they were going to demand a premium headed into next season. With Saquon, at least, you can just franchise tag him and punt the decision a year. But Daniel Jones? He's not good enough to have full confidence in, but he did just enough to have serious regret if you let him go. You're mostly paying him for the idea of being able to throw with good receivers. A dangerous game, especially for $40 million a season. Thank God only 2 of those years are guaranteed. Might as well get him some receivers to help. Darius Slayton and Sterling Shepard are back, but they need a dynamic, talented tight end that can catch. How about Darren Waller? He's an excellent option that can change the course of a game, whenever he isn't in the shop for repairs. Otherwise, enjoy Paris Campbell as the speculative he might do better away from Indianapolis receiver. Not to mention Bobby Akereke and Raheem Nunez-Roches for the defense. Although we all know the real prize for Giants fans. Cutting Kenny Golladay. The end of an era indeed.
The New York Giants select Deonte Banks, defensive back, Maryland.
There were no more wide receivers with a first rounder available after all of them were just snagged. So why not go for need and the best fit available for your scheme? Corner was a big hole to fill for the G-Men. And Deonte Banks is pretty good for what New York runs. It's all but foolproof. Defense is what has helped guide New York back to relevance. Filling it with more talent definitely doesn't hurt. If Banks is good, it will help in this endeavor. Last year, the G-Men had nearly every single thing go right in their quest to return to relevance. The stench of free medium sodas and Joe Judge washed away under the running power of Saquon Barkley. For New York, the time has come to reward those that made them great. Sexy Dexy, Andrew Thomas, and Daniel Jones. Saquon, he'll get some pennies we found in the dryer. Ironically, he agreed to it after a running back's Zoom meeting. Did they tell each other the position was fucked or something? Regardless, this should be a year of improvement. As long as Danny Derps proves he can throw the ball deep to receivers that can manage to catch the football for once. Darren Waller is an excellent addition as long as he's not limited to 5 games by injury. The hype is very real in Giants country, but can they capitalize on it? Not if the rest of their division has anything to say. This is the weakest NFC as a whole I've seen in a long time. We've gone from Rodgers, Breeze, Brady, and more to Jalen Hurts and maybe some other things. This is going to lead to some wonky results, I know it. First off, I believe there's a repeat winner in the NFC East. Philly takes it thanks to their offense. Sorry, Dallas. The NFC North, I'm going to kill myself in the future for it, but I'm picking Detroit. I think the Lions do it this year. Think that's crazy? I have Atlanta winning the NFC South. The only other serious contender here is New Orleans, and I don't trust them to stay healthy. NFC West, all things considered, is Seattle's to lose. This could change if Bosa plays and Purdy stays healthy, so I have them in a wildcard spot. The other 2 slots go to Dallas and Minnesota. As I said, though, the final spots are anyone's guess. And that's the majesty of the game itself. Enough talk. Let's get to the football. The New York Giants showed us things that we never expected. On a rainy, miserable night in North Jersey, all of us witnessed a horrific collapse in real time. Dallas hijacked anything resembling hope and decency in order to deliver great humiliation to their hated rival. New York's optimism vanished faster than the entire right side of their offensive line. Pure destruction at every turn. And Danny Derps is at least getting paid handsomely to get destroyed in the pocket and play like shit. The Cowboys didn't have to do much of anything, just watch as the Giants self-destructed in front of them and merely pick up the pieces. And they still crushed their opponent. It was record-shattering. No team had ever given up a pick six, committed 3 turnovers, surrendered 7 sacks, and had a blocked field goal return for a TD in the same season. The G-Men had it all happen in one game. Annihilation in its most grotesque form. And it felt like it wouldn't end. It was so awful a performance that Kadarius Toney himself dropped by to talk shit. New York suffers horrific trauma the day before remembering horrific trauma. Woefully unprepared with poor execution. Dallas just pissed on your grave. Well done. Arizona is incredibly dedicated to the tank. I'm proud of them for avoiding the temptation of winning. It was a highly seductive mistress. The Giants were fucking terrible in the first half. Josh Dobbs became Dan Marino against that defense. Their offense couldn't stop fucking up. They had collapsed so hard they hadn't scored a point in 6 quarters, down 20-0. I have a theory as to why the Cardinals folded after this. Michael Bidwell gave them a halftime speech. If you win this game, he cries, I'm not only going to raise the price of Gatorade in the locker room, I'll yell at the coach in front of his kids. The defense will step aside and allow Danny Derps to cook. Saquon will drive this bus right to the end zone for endless points. The Cardinals will be run over on offense by an M1 Abrams. 24 unanswered points by the G-Men to reinforce what Arizona is. Locale of the week. Did you seriously expect it to be anyone else? I'm honestly not even that impressed with New York. This shouldn't have even been a game. You want me to give you the Medal of Honor for this shit? And Saquon's now hurt. Oh, god damn it. This one was pretty predictable from the start, wasn't it? I know it had to be played for the Amazon contract, but did we really gain anything? The Niners were flat out the better team. I'll give New York credit. They tried. Oh lord, they tried. Their defense was trying to hold on to that collapsing dam for as long as possible. But with no Andrew Thomas or Saquon on offense, no chance. Without true power to keep up, San Fran just rolled over them like Daniel Jones in the pocket. Even if the refs had a West Coast bias in this one, it didn't matter in the end. I just don't get why Trent Williams would punch a player with the helmet on. Should be ejected for that simply for sheer idiocy. Kyle and John, good work. Here's another extension to keep you warm for the next few years. East Rutherford apparently wasn't satisfied with hosting what agonizing football game. They needed another to immediately follow it. Terrible football abound as only one thing is apparent. The Giants are ass. And I mean ass. Apparently, Saquon and Andrew Thomas are the only things making this team somewhat competent. We're not watching football. We're watching a funnier version of the Bad News Bears. If you look to the 30-yard line, you'll see the remains of what once was Danny Derps mashed into puree on the ground. Behind something that's supposed to be an offensive line, they imitate the southern border by letting everyone in. The Seahawks had 11 sacks. 11. They had 5 in their first 3 games. Danny throwing bad picks in the red zone will do the rest. The G-Men made this defense look like the 85 Bears. Seattle's offense merely had to stand there as Wink's units blue-screened constantly. We can safely conclude that Ed Donatel was out here playing chess last January. Last year was a fluke. Here's a free medium soda for the trouble. Daniel Jones is the NFL's Mr. Potato Head. Every time he gets sacked behind that shitty O-line, pieces of his body keep falling off him. Bad news this week, Giants. Wink Martindale's been waking up in a cold sweat. He walks into his master bath and silently weeps in front of his sink. His defense is up against the Dolphins. They can score on teams at will. And New York doesn't have a game-changing answer to stop the likes of Tyreek Hill or Devon Achane. The sad part was that Wink's unit did their job by making incredible splash plays. They forced the Dolphins' offense into 3 critical turnovers, including a 102-yard pick six. They made Tua throw some really shit balls. Yet with their offense without Saquon, they can't take advantage of it. There's nothing here. They can't get anywhere close to the goal line. And against Miami's firepower, you're fucked. When hell rains upon you, you get more than burned. Daniel Jones reached his hit quota for the day and was pulled with injury. Remember, though, if you rightfully criticize the shitty O-line, you're a burger or hot dog flipper. The Tywin Lannister quote and all. Hey, Evan, at least the fast food worker can hold his position on a fucking line. Chase Claypool might be joining you there if he doesn't get his shit together. We seriously wasted 3 hours of our lives watching whatever the fuck this was supposed to be. That's how pathetic we are. We spent our time watching the equivalent of a melting stick of butter on the screen, and we watched it with a smile on our face. Blink twice if your family's being held hostage. New York is straight up fucked. They're without Danny Derps, a huge chunk of their offensive line, and Azeez Ojulari tonight. It's hoping that Tyrod Taylor doesn't have a cartoon anvil land on his head or something. That anvil probably landed on the Bills franchise in general. Their offense just can't do anything whatsoever. Is it the Giants defense playing over their head or the Bills just fucking up non-stop? Quite frankly, I don't want to know the answer. All I know is that this shit is completely unwatchable. Too bad the G-men have no talent because they should be crushing these mistakes non-stop. The only mistakes are on their end. Tyrod decided to play hero ball and audible out of a call for a running play at the 1-yard line before half. They had no timeouts and time expired. Team offense in 2023 in a nutshell. Overthinking everything and doing nothing with it. Bills, can you please do something so we can go to bed or watch baseball or something? The only weapon working for Buffalo is eating shitloads of clock to take us deep into the fourth quarter. Wait a second, 2 straight touchdowns by Buffalo sandwiching a field goal by the Giants? Holy shit, boys, that's too much offense for one day. Better slow it down. And they do against whatever New York's unit's supposed to be. Turnover on downs. Nope. Can finally end this in field goal range, right, Buffalo? Right, Buffalo? Are you fucking kidding me? Now the Giants have another chance, and they're taking advantage of it. The undermanned Bills defense is being diced, marching all the way down to the red zone with time winding down. This team deserves to lose.
Here's the game. Taylor, end zone, incomplete, flag.
Good lord, blatant pass interference? For fuck's sake, Bills, we have work in the morning. You really do deserve to lose.
Taylor over the top to Waller. Can't bring it in. Taron Johnson defends.
I don't know, you guys. That looked a hell of a lot like pass interference to me. Even the refs themselves got tired of this shitty game and wanted to go home. Bills, you got so fucking lucky. You deserve to lose 5 times over for this shit. Do you have a terrible team that desperately needs kickstarted? All you apparently have to do is play the Commanders. Danny Derps is once again out of commission, so the G-men can prove that Tyrod Taylor is pretty much the equal to their $40 million man. Everyone knows the offense runs through Saquon, and the first half confirmed it. The most points the Giants have gotten in the first 2 quarters all season. Well done, commies. What happened after that? Pretty much defense. That's about it. Wink's unit went back to last year's form, and in the sentence, they just sacked Baker Mayfield once again. For whatever reason, Washington could do next to nothing on offense. Their only hope is the Giants' consistent allergy to having a decent punt returner. It's only a 7-point game, yet it feels like infinity. All production has come to a stop. It's probably the turf's fault at MetLife. Perhaps Kayvon dropping this easy pick 6 is the turf's fault too. Tends to happen a good bit. The commies are the first to try and overcome such a stalemate. But it's merely delayed. They are stalled in the red zone. And then the field goal try is blocked by Giants' excellence. G-men then take control and drive down the field while eating clock. At least until they lose control of the car and fumble the ball away. Washington somehow still has the chance to tie the game. And they're chipping away at New York's defense, eating nearly all the clock left as they push their opponent back to the goal line. It only proves one thing.
Howell pressure coming. He escapes. Throws to the end zone. Dodson dropped it. Incomplete.
Gambling on the riverboat has them going bust. This riverboat's been listing for months now. And Ron is at the helm coasting to their death as the game ends by a Washington injury. The Giants thank you for giving them some semblance of life. This was a game. It was one where you wish Bane would just blow up the field to relieve us from the pain of watching it, but you cannot deny that it was played. This might legitimately be one of the worst football games I've seen since last year. Grotesque, deformed monstrosity that should have been euthanized simply so it could no longer feel any sort of pain. Was partially great defense for both sides, and more neither offense unable to understand the core principles of football. All that will be is Breece Hall scampering for a 50-yard passing touchdown. Otherwise, it will be pain. Literal pain when it comes to Tyrod Taylor. I ask again, what the hell did he do to earn the constant wrath of the football gods? As the Madden ambulance runs over 3 players to take him to the hospital and to the next man up in Tommy DeVito.
Who the hell is Tommy DeVito? Is this Danny's kid or the guy from Goodfellas?
Ponder this as you yearn for the first down. Anything from either team. There will be nothing but offensive death until the start of the second half. It's here where Saquon puts forth a Herculean effort to will the G-men to the red zone and its fruits with him. Touchdown, Tommy DeVito. Giants up by 3, where it would stay thanks to more awful offense. At least the Jets are trying to throw the ball, but are handicapped by a bad O-line and Zach Wilson. The Giants' defensive unit is stuffing everything in sight, but their offense is suddenly chicken shit. They're setting offense back to days before the forward pass. Even Pop Warner offenses feature more creativity in the attacking game. Guess how many passing yards they had in the day? -9. You and I, sitting on our asses, pondering the patheticness of our existence, threw for more net yards than the Giants had. And the Jets can do nothing to take advantage. The fourth quarter is winding down. And we yearn for either team to convert a damn third down, but no one can. The Jets can't even convert a fourth down. And the game should be all but over. Sadly, Brian Daboll has lost his balls. You have a 4th and 1, the Jets have no timeouts left, and you're kicking a field goal? Brother, if you convert the 4th down, you win! Missing the kick is icing on the cake. The logic itself deserves to be scored. And then the defense self-destructs. Long pass by Wilson and offsides on the Giants, which stops the clock. Then Zach Wilson suddenly adds more offense with another long pass, and the agony must continue. Because a terrible game deserves terrible overtime. Don't worry, the Giants can't do anything, but they try to throw the ball, which is shocking in and of itself. But do we really trust Zach Wilson to repeat what he did on the last drive? The Giants do more than enough on their own. Please, oh Yeller, this game.
Kick on the way, and it is good!
And they nearly missed that kick. The Jets get more false hope because the Giants literally could not offense at all. What a disaster for the G-Men. What happened to the cojones you had in Buffalo, Daboll? Why waste that outstanding defensive effort? Are you trying to get yourself fired? They're one step away from QB sneaks on 3rd and 9. How poetic.
It's done. Yes, Mr. Frodo. It's over now.
Seattle's making a push for the postseason, and they need weapons on defense to keep up with San Francisco. Unfortunately, they can't face the Giants every single week, but they can take a piece from them to help out. Leonard Williams is now a Seahawk. They had to give up a good bit to get him, but New York's eating a ton of his remaining salary, so that explains the increased draft capital in return. G-Men get rid of an unneeded part, and the Seahawks get an upgrade on their D-line. It works for both teams on paper. Josh McDaniels' era in Raider Nation is textbook incompetence. The fact that he and Dave Ziegler will be getting $85 million for being shit is an insult to everyone. And instead, an actually likable person in former Giant Antonio Pierce. He wants to feel his players as they feel him. Good news for Las Vegas, it worked. A nice, relaxing change of pace from their ordinary shit show status. Which goes to show that Josh McLarsony was the main problem from the beginning. No, we will talk about the Patriots, you douche canoe. It might also have to do with shelving Jimmy Jesus for Aiden O'Connell. Who knew that not fucking the ball left and right would lead to a win? That and playing a team that's even more of a shit show than them and the Giants. Good lord, it's bad. A complete disaster on both sides of the ball at this rate. Danny Derps came back as an upgrade over being unable to attempt a forward pass. It lasted all of a quarter. The dream dies with a torn ACL. Dread it, run from it. Tommy DeVito must return under center. That's all you need to know. We're gonna shoot him in the face so his mother can't have an open coffin at his funeral. Welcome to the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, G-Men. Not him, there's always Drake May. Or Michael Penix. Or J.J. McCarthy. Did this game really have to be played? It's like watching an NFL franchise go against a Division III school. The Giants were the token sacrifice for Jerry's offering to the gods for a Super Bowl run. Merely told to squirm for a few minutes before they dropped them into a pit of snakes. It's not Dallas unless you give the home crowd false hope before January heartbreak. Nearly 650 yards of offense on the day, with almost 475 yards of passing. The G-Men were given a chance at life on 3rd down, but went 0 for 12. Dead before the opening kickoff. Cowboys, calm down. All you had to do was kill them, not find every blood relative and behead them where they stood. Show mercy. Despite the major changes that take place in the world, some things always stay the same. Every Sunday at FedEx Field, the only joy and hope will be in the opposition's fan base. Did someone forget to tell the commies that the New York Giants offense is the equivalent of a pearl mixed in baby puke? Tommy DeVito was probably training to be a plumber or a made man a few weeks ago, and now he's dicing the secondary too? You're letting that guy guide the G-Men to a great performance against you? What happened to team pride? What happened to pass coverage? What the hell happened to your offense? Like most times, if you have a struggling unit, all you have to do is play Washington. You'll thrive against them. 6 turnovers made them look to be the world beaters they were last year. The only production in DC is an outright embarrassment and unofficial shutdown. A group that sacked DeVito 9 times on the day and still lost by double digits. Rivera and Del Rio can't be long for this franchise, right? With how horrible they played against the glorified MAC team, they're instant lolcows of the week. As New York trolls them relentlessly, there was no hot water in the locker room. But the commies couldn't even shower off the humiliation afterward. Well, something smells foul in Washington, all right. I love this timeline. A matchup that only sick fucks like myself could enjoy. Tommy DeVito's magical run to 6 wins against Mac Jones. Somehow not left behind in Germany. It's just as horrible as I imagined it to be. Have you ever watched The Room? This game was its equivalent. So bad, it's fucking hilarious. New England is setting offense back to days of leather helmets. Little Mac is more than overcooked. Dudes become char dissipating into the wind. Juju's arguing with coaches on the sidelines, and the Patriots have transported themselves back to 1990. Before you ask, Tommy DeVito is doing things on offense. Somehow. Time's up on the hoodie surge from hell, and Satan's come to collect his due. Bill's doing anything he can to salvage the game, and with how far Mac has fallen, this might have been the last straw. The clone Bailey Zappi is back in at QB. And they did manage to score a touchdown on their first drive of the second half. Don't expect much else after that. Endless punting in one of the greatest games ever played. In this specific spot at this point in time. Hey, if Bailey Zappi wants to chuck the ball into triple coverage again, who's to stop him? It'll lead to a field goal for the Giants to ruin their tank, which is perfect for the slop on display. But by some means of telekinesis, the Patriots are able to move the football forwards with the clock winding. Oh boy, a chip shot field goal to take us to overtime. I can't wait.
Will attempt to tie the game. Ronald's kick is no good. Wide to the left.
Honestly, they did us a favor. If we had to suffer through more of this shit, MetLife would have simply cratered into the earth. The football world would have rejoiced. The Giants win the battle, but lose the war for Caleb or Drake. Sorry, New York, those QBs are for New England to ruin. We've only got 5 weeks left in the season from hell itself. That means the playoffs are about to be seen as we crest over the hill. And then the race to the finish will truly begin. The NFC is much more slanted towards the top. Philly still remains the number 1 seed despite their loss, but San Francisco and Detroit are gaining on them fast. As the Clown in the Army Battalion, Atlanta is 4th in Tank Division. Dallas should be in a top 4 spot, but they're stuck in a division with the Eagles. The other 2 wildcard spots are a 4-team race. The Vikings and Packers claim positions for now, but the Rams and Seahawks are right on their tail. Right behind them, the Buccaneers and Saints are knocking on the door of Tank Division. And the Bears and Giants are currently in a combination of long-term planning and extremely slim chances to make noise. This is the playoff situation, and the madness is only going to amplify. There's only one rule, and sadly the Panthers didn't follow it.
Don't get eliminated!
The winds of MetLife are a strange beast. In a game where Green Bay had an unbelievable chance to not only solidify a playoff spot, but solidify their hopes and dreams, they're shitting the bed. What the hell is happening here? A team on the verge of a breakthrough only breaking every bone in their body. Is this the wind swirling through the stadium, or Wink's defense, or just shitty play? The only thing that's certain is that Vanilla Joe Barry's defense can't stop the run. The only thing saving their bacon is that their adversary is Tommy DeVito and the Italian Gabagoo. Enough bada bing to make it look like we're a side of marinara, capiche? The stereotype of a Packers showing deserves more than this. It's sloppier than a fucking 4-year-old eating pasta. Green Bay's got the lead at halftime, but it's far from over. Today's special, though. Monday night didn't just need one complete shit show. It had 2 of them. It would be awfully nice if Green Bay could stop being so incredibly sloppy with things. Packers special team selling games. It's like we're back in 2021. Hell, the G-men are begging you to take the game back, but the Packers offense suddenly gets love-struck with field goals. It'd be fine, yet Vanilla Joe Barry keeps getting the runs. Their defensive diarrhea is making Tommy DeVito into a made man. The modern Duck Hodges deserves an 8-point lead. Oh, the Packers will come back, we say. They can't just implode like this. But they absolutely can. Overthinking everything imaginable in the red zone, effectively slaughtering the drive in place. And then Packers special teams. Oh, joy. The G-men aren't even good this year, you know that? So why the hell is Green Bay suddenly treating them like they're back in their 80s heyday? Am I supposed to be satisfied Packers special teams finally did something good? It doesn't matter whatsoever, the Giants are running away with this game. It's gonna happen now, an incredible miracle of miracles.
Back-to-back big runs and still going. Tripped up and down inside the 20. The ball comes out. And for now, it is being returned by Carrington Valentine. They're letting this play go.
I should really just shut my mouth. Be perfect as Green Bay gets a bailout that makes the U.S. government envious. They're nearing the goal line, but we've seen this movie before. Maybe they'll surprise me this time.
Blitz, end zone, catch made, Heath again. And the official that would make the call gets knocked over. Touchdown, Green Bay!
Thank the gods Jordan Love remembered how to throw a football. Only if they could have gotten the 2-point conversion. Another fuck up to add to the pile. It's now mission critical. One job is paramount. They need to stop, and the Packers defense buckles like me on the squad rack. Absolutely wonderful. They didn't deserve to win this shit anyway.
The hold, the win for the Giants.
Man, Green Bay really pissed this away in a year ago. In one fell swoop, the rest of the NFC is cheering in delight. The 7th seed and its repercussions have been disastrous for football. The Giants and Bears are now one game back of a playoff spot. Both of these teams have been complete fucking trash this year. See what you've done, Packers? Now New Yorkers are buying into Tommy DeVito as their franchise QB. Memes are truly becoming more than dreams. Well, this is gonna take a bit to sort out. Scriptwriters are generating so much hope that it could power a small town for years on end. A mediocrity carousel that'll make your head spin. The age of upsets brings us endless mosh pits. The NFC is even worse off. But we have a new number 1 seed in San Francisco because Dallas has usurped the Eagles in the division lead for now. They're in 2nd place. Detroit, despite their struggles as of late, have 3rd seed, which won't be in danger. That's because Tampa Bay is somehow leading Tank Division. The abomination we hoped would die. They'll have the right to host Philly in a wildcard game if things stand. With 2nd wildcard, I don't know how, but the Vikings are in sole possession of it. A million explosions and somehow alive. Same as Green Bay in the wildcard spot that should not exist. A 5-way tie exists for the right to get slaughtered. The Rams, Seahawks, Falcons, and Saints are also in the mix for better or worse. And in the background, the Giants and Bears are kicking back laughing at how the hell they're only a game back of a dance ticket. Welcome to the mess, kids. We've got 4 games left. Only 1 spot's been clinched and 2 teams are out. Buckle up. Keep your hands inside at all times. And one more thing.
Don't get eliminated!
Flash in the pan memes are some of my favorites. The Duck Hodgeses and Kyle Allens and Josh Dobbses and Mike motherfucking Whites of the world show us all that anyone can play quarterback at the highest level. For a few weeks. Tommy DeVito was a legend for a fortnight, but reality slowly kicks all false hope in the ass. Like all failed dreams, it happened at the Superdome. The Saints shut down the Giants' running game and forced Tommy to try to beat them with his arm. He couldn't. New Orleans killed them off with efficiency and repetition. If there was a 3rd down, they couldn't convert it. If there was a pass, it only averaged about 3 yards. Any momentum, sacked 7 times in the backfield and then knocked out briefly before halftime on a hard hit. Every Italian American now cries into a platter of gabagool. There was another showing of Tyrod Taylor at minimum. The Saints are still a very flawed team, but they haven't had to do a ton these past few weeks. Just keep their head down and punish their easy opponents. Derek Carr at least looked solid and got them back to 500. Oh god, I just realized. There's a chance that 2 teams from Tank Division might make the playoffs this year. What a damning indictment of the NFC. Another tick of the clock has passed. While several teams have secured tickets to the dance, there is so much more at stake in this final stretch. The NFC is San Francisco's to lose. They stand alone for the number 1 seed right now, with Dallas, Detroit, and Philly having outside chances at it. In spite of a 3-game skid, Philly still controls their own destiny. If they and Dallas both win out, they will control the NFC East due to strength of schedule. The Cowboys are just hoping their rival keeps failing. The big scenario is tank division. Tampa Bay has the potential to run away with a spot due to a 3-game win streak. New Orleans is hot on their tail, but currently lose tiebreaker. Atlanta just keeps choking, so they're on the outside. Like in the AFC, there's a 4-way tie for 2 wildcard spots. Minnesota's in troubled waters, but still has the 6th seed. The LA Rams, after a Packers loss, now control the final spot. The Seahawks and Saints are also in the mix and are eager to steal a spot for their own. Behind them, Green Bay and Atlanta need a good bit of help now after their last 2 defeats. I wish you all good tidings and safe travels in this final week of 2023. Christmas season is hectic, but these holidays get more special with age. Enjoy your time with friends and family, cherish what you have in life, and do me one favor, please.
Don't get eliminated!
Christmas is a time of many blessings. These did not take place at the Link. In another showing of awful gaming, the Giants tried to disconnect their Ethernet cable mid-match, but there would be no such luck. Philly not only significantly outmuscled them, but outpushed them in both the trenches and flanks. A miserable slog for all of Jersey where they cry into a pot of clam pasta to make homemade sauce. An offense that has finally run out of gusto and parm to season their attack. As Philly flies away, a hard decision is made. The Feast of the 7 Fishes has a new offering on the table. Whacked DeVito. The magical ride is over. Tyrod Taylor's coming in, and he'll prove absolutely nothing besides missing nearly every single wide-open receiver that he chucks the ball towards on the run. You have to understand, the Eagles weren't even good in this game. Repeated self-sabotage was the main recipe in the oven. Terrible execution only serving to give New York undeserved life. Seriously, if they don't get in their own fucking way, the Eagles win by at least 30. It was that much of a blowout. But alas, Philly survives not only the Giants, but themselves. Mostly themselves. Toying with their prey for way too long, proving nothing rewarded for playing a bad opponent. New York, you did play hard and fought to the end. We're proud. Step this way. The NFL is going to make you a made man. The epitome of a trap game. LA in all but a must-win situation against a team that they easily beat on paper, turning into anything but that. Tommy Cutlets is sleeping with the fishes. Go wake Tyrod Taylor up and hope he doesn't suffer a freak injury by the touchdown pylon or something. At some points, it could be that the Giants are grabbing some of their fluke wonder that led them to the playoffs last year. It could also be the Any Given Sunday phenomenon. More than likely, it's the Rams simply falling in the spotlight and making errors they haven't been committing. Kind of a slugfest worthy of MetLife, if we're being honest. Both teams slipping and flailing on themselves in the elements. The great equalizer. Puka Nacua is also pretty good at playing football, or the Giants are just that bad at tackling. An advantage. Tyrod also knows how to avenge those that fucked him. A beautiful touchdown right into the breadbasket of Darius Slayton. Another great equalizer. Only if Mason Crosby could kick an extra point, they'd be good. It'd also be nice if they could convert this easy interception into a touchdown, but Mason can manage to kick a 30-yarder. Too bad they can't stop the Rams' attack. Or Kyron Williams. Kyron's such a good running back, isn't he? Man, he's so good. Down by 7 and time winding down with pain aplenty. Neither team able to generate offense. Look to the Ravens, G-men. You're gonna need a miracle.
Olszewski from the 6-yard line. Has a little bit of room in front of him. Out to the 20. And going to be breaking tackles. He's still on his feet. Olszewski looked like he was going down, and he may take it all the way.
Olszewski did something good for a team? Would have been nice if you did this in Pittsburgh, buddy. Only option now is to go for it.
It's Taylor to throw. Barkley's open.
That, kids, is why Tyrod Taylor is a backup. The Giants do stop them and force a punt, but Tyrod's going to have to carry this team on his back. Kind of is. Surprisingly, time's winding down and they're on the fringes of field goal range. Sad part is if they have Grim Gano, they probably win. He's not coming through that door.
Good snap. Good hold. Crosby's kick is no good.
Relying on a fossilized Mason Crosby to kick a 55-yarder. That's definitely suboptimal. It does help the Giants tank, though. Philadelphia isn't collapsing. Saying that would imply that there was any structure to begin with. Even for a derision, I think we were too kind with Philly before this moment. To declare them as frauds is an insult to anyone who actually is one. That indicates some semblance of competence. Eagles, you are fucking terrible. Not just losing to a Giants team reeling from a miserable year, but brought to heel by them in 20 minutes? What the hell are you doing in practice all week? Generating a victim complex? You really are the 2020 Steelers. All the way to the cancer infesting the locker room. Don't worry, Philly. Nick Sirianni will throw a temper tantrum and Matt Patricia will reinforce why I wouldn't have him coaching Pop Warner. You want to know how this gets worse for the Eagles? Oh, this shit sandwich has gone putrid. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts went down with injury. Things have transformed from fucked to Jim Jones passing out Kool-Aid. At least drinking that'll free you from this hell. This is supposed to be a Super Bowl contender? In what universe? The Campbell's chunky world? There were serious questions that the Giants needed to answer this season. And they only confirmed one thing. Last season was a fluke. They danced through so many raindrops that running it back wasn't wise. Even then, I expected them to get 7 or 8 wins on the year, not this. All you need to see is their offensive line. Swiss fucking cheese. Giving up the most sacks in the NFL, including 11 to Seattle's mid-tier pass rush. At least the fast food workers can hold the line, Evan. A lion doesn't concern himself with the opinions of sheep like Daniel Jones. He died, and then he died again. And then his body was shattered, and everyone wonders why the fuck they're paying him $40 million a year. The defense didn't do much better. The team had their feel-good story with Tommy DeVito for about a month before he got whacked. It masked the personnel issues on both sides of the ball and the civil war bubbling over between Brian Daboll and Wink Martindale. Wink doesn't want to leave, then Daboll will just fire his assistant so he rage quits. The luster is wearing off this regime fast, and the offseason's going to be critical to their efforts. They have pieces, but lack an overall puzzle. And until they figure that out, the Giants are doomed. Do they try to keep Saquon around or let him go? They're stuck with Danny Derps with that contract, but behind that offensive line, like Darren Waller, his time might be shorter than we expect. Be like them with the deep ball. Pray.